watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 4. A nice weekend is on the way. We'll get an update on the forecast with Blaze in just a little bit. But we begin this Friday with the deadly pedestrian crash in Madison that killed a Madison West High School student, now calling into question safety in the area.
Madison police say a 17-year-old was waiting for a bus when a car hit them. Neighbors are saying there is a lot of reckless driving on South Park Street.
Our Tanisha Shaw visited the Growing Memorial today.
I've seen plenty of people blow red lights here on Park Street.
Laura Roberts drives on South Park Street often. She says people driving near the intersection of Burr Oak and South Park Street are aggressive.
Even though there is a lighted crossing, a lot of people just don't stop. They're unaware of it. They're too distracted. There's a lack of patience.
This is the same intersection where 17-year-old Alexander Rosen, who goes by Sasha, was hit by a car Thursday morning. Alexander was waiting on this bus stop on the way to school.
That particular intersection, even though there is a lighted crossing, a lot of people just don't stop. They're unaware of it.
And on Friday, there are growing memorials to remember Alexander here on South Park Street.
I'm sure a lot of people, young people, saw that, and it was probably very traumatic for them.
Since 2023, there have been 5 crashes at the intersection of Burr Oak and South Park Street, including the pedestrian crash Thursday, according to the Madison Police Department. Out of the 5 crashes, 4 of them were vehicle versus vehicle. Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Tanisha. We'll have more about the crash, and we'll also have a response from the Madison Police Department tonight at 6.
The operator of more than 100 Burger King franchises in Wisconsin is being ordered to pay more than $1 million in penalties for alleged child labor violations. The allegations against Cave Enterprises came after a long investigation involving more than 600 children ages 14 and 15. Maren Rosen has the details.
Well, Susan and Brady, Governor Tony Evers is calling this the largest determination of child labor and wage payment violations in modern state history. The Department of Workforce Development told me that over a 5-year period, 33 complaints were filed against various Burger King locations owned by Cave Enterprise. Further investigation found more than 1,600 child labor violations over a 2-year period. These violations include hundreds of cases where minors worked 6 hours or more without a required meal break, and nearly 600 instances where children worked without a proper labor permit.
We know that youth are a very important part of our workforce, but first and foremost, they're kids, and they also are going to school, and they have extracurricular activities. And as much as we love that they want to enter into the workforce and learn and expand their capabilities and, grow as a potential new worker to Wisconsin, we want to make sure that they have those protections.
State officials say the company now owes more than $1 million in penalties and back pay to minor employees. And if payment is not made within 20 days, the case will be referred to the Wisconsin Department of Justice.
We'll continue to follow it, Maren. Thank you. Blaze is here. We talked about it yesterday, about that. Remember that grapple? The Dippin' Dots we saw on the ground?
Yes, a little bit of that this morning too, but you wouldn't know it because plenty of sunshine as we take a live look there. Outside the Union Terrace, people flying kites, people out at the Statue of Liberty as the Winter Carnival is getting set up. Obviously, a lot more activity is going to be on the ice tomorrow. And thankfully, we really had that prolonged cold towards the end of January to get that ice thick enough for all those activities tomorrow. It's 35 degrees though right now. Winds have turned out of the north, so there is a bit of a wind chill. But take a look, we're near 40, Monroe, Platteville, Dubuque right now, 38 in Prairie du Chien. But then once you get north of really the Dells, upper 20s to low 30s. An incoming high pressure system is moving on in, and that is going to cool us down as we head overnight and keep us on the cooler side as we go into Saturday. So we are looking at single-digit overnight lows, even slipping below 0, I would say, towards the Watoma, Fond du Lac area, with northerly winds gusting upwards of 25 miles per hour at times. So a cooler Saturday, but we're back into the 30s on Sunday, 40s by Monday. How long they last in the full forecast.
Thanks, Blaze. We caught Lady Liberty going up on Lake Mendota this morning. Look how fast they're working. Just kidding. This is a sign of the start of the Winter Carnival with the Wisconsin Union. Lady Liberty is just the start to more than 30 events going on this weekend. And tonight, Rock and Roll Decades Skate Night will take place right around sunset. And then tomorrow, they'll be offering carriage rides in the afternoon, plus freestyle skiing and snowboarding at 3. And then the day wraps up with fireworks at 7. You can find a full list of these events on our website, channel3000.com.
It is always such a cool sight to see Lady Liberty on the lake. And speaking of being on the lake, Dane County is considering whether to allow some vehicles on its frozen lakes. A proposed amendment would allow things like ATVs, UTVs, off-highway motorcycles, and snowmobiles on the ice. The amendment would also remove weight restrictions and flotation requirements for those vehicles. However, county leaders want to hear from the public about it first. Written comments are accepted through March 9th, and a meeting will be held March 4th at the Lyman Anderson Ag and Conservation Center. That's happening at 5:30.
Also in Madison, fire crews say they protected a home on the west side yesterday after a vehicle caught on fire. On Valhalla Way near High Point Park, crews were called to multiple reports of a vehicle fire in a driveway at about 10 a.m. The Madison Fire Department says a commercial van was on fire with carpet cleaning hoses stretching into a nearby home. Fire was close to the home, but it did not reach it. Crews put out the fire. The van and equipment are destroyed. Thankfully, nobody was hurt.
In Jefferson, State Patrol troopers say footprints in the snow led them to a man who left the scene of a crash. Just after midnight, state troopers on I-94 found a crashed, unoccupied vehicle with the airbags deployed. A trooper found footprints in the fresh snow leading away from the crash, and after following the tracks for over a mile and a half, troopers found a 41-year-old Sun Prairie man hiding in a bush. He was arrested for driving under the influence, fourth offense.
Well, here at News 3 Now, we often refer to you, our viewers, as living in the Madison area.
But we know there are countless people watching and stories to be told in small towns. And News 3's Sarah Carlson is here with more on a bit of a love story today from Lodi. Sarah?
That's right, Susan and Brady. There's nothing more refreshing or contagious than a happy story, especially when it's our job to share things that can be hard to hear. So today we take you to Lodi, where there is a famous spot on the top of the hill at Main Street. That's where the elementary school there, the old one, has been abandoned for years, structurally and safety issues there. But the space is now an opportunity for growth.
I've always had an affinity for Lodi. I'm a small town guy, born and raised in central Wisconsin, in a small town, and had been coming through Lodi recreationally for about 25 years.
That's Steve Schulfer, the founding partner of Sketchworks Architecture in Middleton. He spotted this beautiful abandoned space and worked closely with the community and city of Lodi to renovate it. There will now be senior living, townhomes, and a 49-unit apartment building where that school once stood. Coming up tonight at 10, we'll tell you more about the plans and hear from a resident and city leader about what she calls a magical place to live. Susan and Brady.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Sarah. Well, next on Live at 4, a major M&M recall in 20 states, including Wisconsin. We'll show you which packages are affected and the issue.
And then the Winter Carnival, as we were showing you earlier, is here. Our Nash Dara tells us everything going on this weekend on the Lake Mendota ice.
Then a project that could bring $1 billion into Sun Prairie could bring mixed housing, commercial, and other land use to 134 acres of land. We are breaking down what this project is.
And then Blaze is here with the weekend forecast. It really felt mild today, didn't it? It did. It felt, this is the first day in many days, it really started to feel more mild. What's in store for the weekend? He'll have the details when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
More than 6,000 bags of M&M's candies packaged for promotional purposes have been recalled. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says they may contain undeclared allergens. The recalled products include select bags of peanut M&Ms and regular M&Ms sold with a wide range of promotional labels. They were distributed across 20 states, including Wisconsin. Consumers with milk, soy, or peanut allergies should not eat them and throw them away. The candies are safe to eat for those who do not have allergies.
The Federal Aviation Administration is cracking down on drones. It says it will be more aggressive about enforcing safety and authorization regulations. The announcement today follows an FAA policy update this year. It requires legal action if drones endanger the public, violate airspace rules, or assist in a crime. Penalties include fines up to $75,000 and license suspensions. The FAA update comes days before the Super Bowl. The Levi Stadium area has a number of flight restrictions.
Well, we saw some slick spots caused by everyone's favorite, say it with me now, grapple this morning, but we did get to the mid and upper 30s this afternoon. So what's next in the weather, Blaze?
We are looking at a cooler Saturday, and then Sunday we are back into the 30s, 40s, return on Monday, and they look to stick around through at least Tuesday, but that doesn't mean that we're cooling down after Tuesday. We'll take a look at the 7 days and 10-day forecast here. We're expected to stay seasonal or above average even after we say goodbye to those 40s. By Tuesday. We got to 40. Speaking of it, Lone Rock, Platteville, Prairie du Chien. We were so close yet so far. The Dells, Camp Douglas, Black River Falls, La Crosse coming in at 39. Madison, we came in at 38. 36 in Juneau. I don't know what's going on in Watertown, but if they got to 86, congrats. You are feeling like summer on this February 6th afternoon. We're starting to push out that warmer air, though. Notice that north of our forecast area, north of Juneau, Adams County, starting to see some of that blue. We're going to be welcoming in cooler temperatures as we go into your Saturday. High pressure moves in tonight, clears out the clouds overnight, bringing us some breezy winds as well. But they die down for Saturday and turn out of the south. So we're back into the 20s. Partly sunny, eventually turning mostly cloudy as we head further into the evening. And then that means that we'll be in the 30s by Sunday thanks to those southeasterly winds. They continue into Sunday as well, so warmer, back to near freezing, and we're looking at some lighter winds to end the weekend. Monday and Tuesday, low 40s back to back, and even after we cool back into those low to mid 30s Wednesday through the rest of the extended forecast, we're still above freezing and we're still above normal. So if you want to get out and enjoy the ice and the snow that is still there, I would do it tomorrow, Sunday at the latest, because we are going to be doing a lot of melting, especially with that snow on the ground, Monday and Tuesday of next week, and the ice is going to be thinning as we go throughout next week. Even as our overnight lows linger just below freezing, it's really not cold enough to offset the melting that we did during the day. And besides Saturday, all of our forecast highs, 5 to 15 degrees above average Sunday through the rest of the extended forecast. So that prolonged, cooler than normal weather pattern that we were underneath from the end of January or mid-January through the start of this month, I think it has officially broken down. We are staying in those 30s and 40s from Sunday onward. Valentine's Day looking far beyond into the future. Valentine's Day weekend, partly sunny, low 30s. Maybe a rain snow mix there Wednesday into Thursday, but doesn't look too promising. Right now we have less than a half an inch of snow accumulated for the Madison area. Even though it's the start of February, we got to make up about 13 inches. So we got to get some snow, but it doesn't look like any real snowmakers in the extended forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. Coming up on Live at 4, another man believed to have been responsible for the deaths of 4 American soldiers in Libya has been arrested.
And the search grows more desperate for the mother of today's show co-host, Savannah Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie, where investigators are with a ransom note discovery.
Then talks are ramping up in Iran once more in hopes of calming escalations in that nation's nuclear program. What both sides are saying about what could make a deal work.
And back here in Wisconsin, we are talking about this weekend's Winter Carnival. Look at that person go. All the activities you can expect after a few years of uncooperative ice.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Let's see how stocks fared to end the work week. Better than yesterday. This Friday, all of the indexes closed up. The Dow significantly up 1,200 points. The Nasdaq gained 490 and the S&P 500 closed up 133.
The U.S. has arrested a man accused of playing a key role in the 2012 attack on the American consulate in Benghazi, Libya. Attorney General Pam Bondi says Zubair al-Bakush has been extradited to the United States and will face charges including murder, arson, and terrorism-related offenses. 4 Americans were killed in the September 11, 2012 attack, which was later determined to be a coordinated terrorist assault. Al-Bakush is the 3rd suspect charged in the case.
It has now been 6 days since the mother of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie disappeared.
And as the search grows more desperate, the Guthrie family released a second video message pleading for a way to communicate with those who might have taken her. Andre Gutierrez has the latest from Tucson.
A day after confirming that blood found outside Nancy Guthrie's Tucson home belonged to her, the Pima County Sheriff tells CBS News that investigators are awaiting more test results.
Hopefully the DNA or fingerprints might show us something.
It's been 6 days since the mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie disappeared. In a video released Thursday, Nancy's son said the family is waiting to hear from her potential kidnappers.
We need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom.
Investigators are still trying to determine if a ransom note sent to a few media outlets is legitimate. The FBI says it included a demand for Bitcoin and contained 2 different deadlines, one of which has passed and the next is set for Monday. Investigators have also laid out a detailed timeline of the events that led up to Nancy Guthrie's apparent abduction Sunday morning. At 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnects. At 2:12, the software detects movement, possibly a person, but it was not recorded. And then at 2:28, Nancy's pacemaker app disconnects from her phone. The sheriff tells CBS News investigators are reviewing hundreds of vehicles and their movements in and out of the area during that time in question.
We know that at some point in time, maybe we'll get a camera that's, here's her home, and the camera 5 doors down says, here's a car. What if we want to find out where'd that car go?
The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to Nancy Guthrie's safe return or the arrest of anyone involved in her disappearance. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Tucson, Arizona.
The Pima County Sheriff says his department will continue to work under the assumption that Nancy Guthrie is still alive unless it gets evidence suggesting otherwise.
Construction workers are leaving the Gateway Project work site in New Jersey today, many not knowing if they'll return. The Trump administration pulled federal funding for the $16 billion project that builds new rail tunnels under the Hudson River and upgrades century-old tunnels carrying bulk rail traffic into Penn Station. Gateway officials say they've run out of options, forcing construction to shut down indefinitely, with roughly 1,000 workers laid off.
Congress gave the money. This thing was moving. You obviously see the project underway right now. So it's moving, right? And just out of nowhere, they decide to stop it and stop the resources. So we go to court and try to stop the White House from blowing up the project.
The Gateway Commission in New York and New Jersey are now suing the federal government to free up funding already approved by Congress. Reports are suggesting President Trump promised to restore funding only if Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer agrees to rename Penn Station and Dulles Airport after him. Project officials say dismantling equipment and securing the work site could cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
The U.S. and Iran are holding indirect talks today in an effort to de-escalate tensions over Iran's nuclear program.
This comes amid a U.S. military buildup in the region and fears by Arab nations an attack could spark a regional war. Natalie Brand shows us from the White House.
President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff and son-in-law Jared Kushner met with Oman's foreign minister Friday, who's mediating talks between the U.S. and Iran over its nuclear program.
The president has obviously been quite clear in his demands of the Iranian regime. Zero nuclear capability is something he's been very explicit about, and he wants to see if a deal can be struck.
Iran's foreign minister says talks are expected to continue. Alex Vatenka of the Middle East Institute says it's unclear where they lead.
It's very unpredictable. I don't see the U.S. side or the Iranian side really softening their respective red lines.
For more than a month, President Trump has been threatening to strike Iran, moving additional assets to the region, including the Abraham Lincoln Aircraft Carrier Group, which includes guided missile destroyers. Earlier this week, the U.S. shot down a drone it says was aggressively approaching the Lincoln.
I would remind the Iranian regime that the president has many options at his disposal, aside from diplomacy, as the commander-in-chief of the most powerful military in the history of the world.
The indirect talks with Iran are happening as the president also says he wants to negotiate a new arms control treaty with Russia after the 15-year-old New START agreement limiting nuclear weapons expired Thursday.
The president's been pretty clear that he wants a better agreement.
Experts say China is believed to have the fastest growing nuclear arsenal among the 9 nuclear-armed nations.
Exactly 0 Chinese nuclear weapons were covered by New START.
Lawmakers say the president must move urgently to negotiate a new treaty, and that failing to do so will send a terrible signal to Russia and China. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The date and location for a second round of talks with Iran has not yet been disclosed.
Coming up on Live at 4, we have new video showing the aftermath of a car going through a garage in Madison.
And then in Sun Prairie, a roughly $1 billion development is being proposed. We'll take a look at what's in the project.
And we are at one of the prime points in winter where it has been cold enough to freeze Lake Mendota, but it's still warm enough to enjoy getting out there for the Winter Carnival. Nash Dara is showing us what's in store.
And then we're checking in with Blaze. We'll see what tonight's weather could potentially do to the ice and what the rest of the weekend has in store. His forecast is coming up.
News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Live at 4. It's been a long week, so this is our chance to exhale. It's Friday!
Yes.
Ooh, that feels good, doesn't it?
The weather feels good. Let's take a look outside today.
Ooh,
look at those clouds. Pretty. Beautiful blue sky. It's a big weekend in Madison with the Frozen Assets and the Winter Carnival at the UW Memorial Union. The weather words for today: cooler Saturday and 40s. Look at that. Return on Monday. Blaze is here with a look at the forecast. So this will be the weekend, right, to seize the day and get out on the ice.
Yes, and you know, we had, even though it was really long, that cool down, which really helped get that ice ready for not only the Frozen Assets, but the Winter Carnival tomorrow. I positioned the camera. This is just outside the Edgewater. I don't know if you can see it because there is the building here, but a cool igloo made of pure ice. I saw a couple people taking photos of it. I'm going to be there tomorrow, so I'm excited. Temperatures will be a little bit cooler tomorrow as well. We're back into the 20s. Right now we're at 35 in Madison, so doing a little bit of melting right now, but we are looking at the 20s to return tomorrow. Winds are out of the north and quickly kicking out that warmer air. 39 though in Monroe, still 37 in Janesville, 35 in Madison. North of the Dells, we are at or just below freezing, and we're going to slip into the single digits later tonight. It doesn't feel like we're in those 30s and near 40s for some of us with those northerly winds gusting upwards of 25 to 30 miles per hour. But cooler air moves in store for Saturday, as Susan had mentioned at the top of this half hour. 40s returning on Monday. Any rain or snow in the forecast? We will take a look in just a few minutes.
All right, Blaze, thank you. A very special winter tradition is back this weekend at the UW Memorial Union.
Yeah, it's very exciting news. 3 Now's Nash Dara stepped onto frozen Lake Mendota to see the events of this year's Winter Carnival.
It is day 2 of the Wisconsin Winter Carnival, and I am here outside to check out the festivities this Friday. First and foremost, giving a shot on the Red Bull Light the Lamp. Got some Plinko style board here. We got a 20, we'll take it. Let's go check out some of the other events going on today. The wind was howling this afternoon out on the open ice as students and Madison natives toughened their way through the cold to try a 9-hole hockey shooting course learn how to ice fish, and check out a yearly tradition that has been going on for decades.
Winter Carnival has been part of the Wisconsin Union since 1940. So about 86 years we've been bringing this tradition to downtown Madison. Lady Liberty began in 1979 as a prank by Leon Varjan and Jim Mallon, and we brought it back in an inflatable version in 2019.
The inflatable Lady Liberty head and torch is to scale as the real statue on Liberty Island in New York City. It is one of the iconic traditions of the Madison Memorial Union during the winter. But don't worry if you missed today, there is still time to come out to the Memorial Union right here out on Lake Mendota and check out all the events happening tomorrow. For now in Madison, Nash Dara, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Nash. Have fun out there. And some of the events happening tomorrow include fireworks, ice climbing, carriage rides, and much more.
So much fun. Well, developers are looking to expand upon a 133-acre property in Sun Prairie.
Our Maya Tate is here with more on what could happen. Maya?
Brady and Susan, local developer T-Wall Enterprises is looking to create the Derby District, a quote Hilldale-style mall on one side of the site, and plans for apartments and senior living facilities, as well as sports fields, a pool, a dog park, and a religious facility on the other side. The designs are set on a property bordered by Windsor Street, St. Albert the Great Drive, and Highway 19 in Sun Prairie, where office buildings currently exist. In a statement from Sun Prairie Planning Director Josh Clements, he says that he has heard a lot of diverse responses from the people in the community about their feelings toward the proposal. The current lot sits in the middle of several neighborhoods. Clements also says, quote, the city and region are in a housing crisis, and the proposal would include a meaningful number of new homes. The current proposal of 993 homes is about 20% of what the city projects demand to be over the next 10 years. Clements continued saying that he expects the Plan Commission to need to hear more about how the developer plans to resolve current conflicts with the city's plans and policies. The Sun Prairie Plan Commission will meet on February 10th at 7 p.m. to continue discussion.
Maya, thank you. In Madison, nobody was hurt after a car drove through a garage at a far west side apartment last night. At about 6:30, emergency crews say they were told about the crash on Old Sauk Road just north of Walnut Grove Park. The car had damaged the garage enough to where crews were worried about the building's safety. The heavy urban rescue team braced the building, took the car out, and the building was found to be safe.
Now to the ongoing uncounted ballots battle in Madison. In 2024, nearly 200 absentee ballots went uncounted by the Madison Clerk's Office. Law Forward is representing multiple voters whose ballots went uncounted in a lawsuit asking for compensation from the city. The city is seeking to have that lawsuit tossed out. On the next For the Record, political reporter Ellie LaLiberte sits down with the mayor of Madison to talk about why.
Should these voters be able to be compensated for their ballot being uncounted?
No, I don't think so. I think what the voters deserve and what they have gotten from us is an apology and the fact that we have worked to make sure that that will never happen again.
And you can watch Ellie's full interview with Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway and a roundup of this week's political news this Sunday at 10:30 on For the Record.
National Wear Red Day is today. We have our red on, and it's important because it's recognizing and bringing awareness to the #1 killer of women in the United States. That's cardiovascular disease.
Mary Nichols has one heart attack survivor story and what she wants others to know about the warning signs.
It's been 4 years since Beth Opal suffered a massive heart attack. She experienced symptoms on the way home from a trip with her sister.
Really uneasy and uncomfortable. There was a little pressure on my neck. I had some achiness in my arms and definitely my back.
Knowing her family history, her mom had a heart attack at age 50, Beth headed for the ER. The type of heart attack she experienced is called a widowmaker because it's often fatal.
The entire left side was blocked, so I'm very fortunate that I got there in time.
Beth is in this year's American Heart Association Go Red for Women class of survivors, raising awareness.
Most women will show up with the classic chest pain, chest pressure. However, some women can show up with nausea, sweaty feeling, chest burning, back pain, left arm pain, just not feeling right as a manifestation of their heart attack.
Northwell Health cardiologist Dr. Jennifer Merez says heart disease is preventable, so know the risk factors. They include high blood pressure, diabetes, elevated cholesterol, obesity, lack of sleep, and cardiovascular conditions during pregnancy.
Choose to move every day. Have a colorful plate. We now know that if you get less than 7 hours of sleep, that can have an amplifying effect on your risk for heart disease.
Beth is following that advice.
I definitely try to minimize stress. I try to do things that are calming, like playing the piano and taking walks. I try to eat healthy. I'm just lucky to be alive, and I'm just here to tell everybody about listening to the signs and knowing your history.
It could save your life. Mary Nichols, CBS News, Salt Lake City.
Research shows less than 50% of women recognize their heart disease risks.
This weekend, the Meadowood Neighborhood Center kicks off a series of free events honoring Black History Month. Tomorrow from 1 to 3, the center will host a paint and sip featuring mocktails and Black history-inspired art. On the 20th, there will be a fashion show pop-up from 5 to 7 with Meadowood staff modeling Black fashion from different decades. These events are open and free to anyone 18 and older. And then on the 27th, the center will host a community celebration and soul food dinner from 5 to 6:30.
Well, next on Live at 4, I think I speak for both of us when I say our favorite part of the Super Bowl, it's the food, of course.
Yes, love the food. We hear from Jones Dairy Farm today about some great options that you can bring out for Super Bowl Sunday. Then, if you've ever been unsure if you can make art, there's a group of people in Milwaukee saying, yes, you can. Emphasis on the can. We'll look at how art and cans of food come together.
Oh, that brings a smile to my face. Plus, Blaze is tracking the first warn forecast. Snow, rain, and cold move over. We are going above freezing for a long while.
News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
We're giving the weather satellite a spin. Great town. This is a live look at Austin, Texas. Beautiful day there today. 82 and sunny. Austin is home to the largest state capitol building in the U.S. It's around 30 feet taller than our capitol and has 50% more floor space. It's also the fastest growing metro in the country for the last 8 years running.
But does it have a spam museum like Austin, Minnesota does?
Good point. Well, if you don't know what to make for your Super Bowl party this weekend, here's a quick recipe that will definitely score you a touchdown.
Yeah, game day snacks do not have to be complicated. I visited Jones Dairy Farm in Fort Atkinson, and Chef Kate Conan is showing us how a few ingredients can make a really great dip. Okay, as everyone knows, I am a huge football guy. I just heard everyone laugh because, you know, I'm only showing up to the party for the snacks. And we have some really good snacks here. I'm here with Chef Kate Conan with Jones Dairy Farm. We're in the Jones Dairy House right now. And
Yes.
What are you going to cook for us today?
We are going to make a couple of wonderful dips. So we're using, the first one, we're using our roll sausage. This is our 3-ingredient roll sausage. So it's just pork, salt, and spices. And it's very simple, very few ingredients. We're cooking it down, and then you're going to leave that fat in the pan because we're going to make a roux.
Oh, and
so
all the flavors in there.
correct, yep. So we're going to thicken it up with a little bit of flour. Add in that flour and just give it a little toss so that it absorbs into that sausage. And then we have about a 1/2 cup of whole milk or 2% milk, whichever you have at home.
Okay.
We want something with a little bit more fat because that's going to help thicken up the cheese sauce. So we'll just dump that right in after your flour is all absorbed.
And some people think a roux might be kind of challenging, but that looks pretty easy.
It's really not. Roux is just a simple equal parts of fat and flour, and you're just stirring that until it starts to thicken, and that gives whatever you're making that wonderful base and that great thickness. And then we have our cheese. So this is just a white American cheese. It's the block cheese that you can buy. They make a white version as well, and that's the one that we're using for this recipe.
So it's going to melt really well.
It's going to melt really well. Green chilies that you can buy in the Hispanic food aisle. If you like it a little spicier, go ahead and throw 2 cans in.
Oh,
go
now you're
crazy.
getting dangerous.
Yeah.
All my Minnesota Lutherans out there just grab their water glass right now.
Oh, and you're going to get this really nice color. You'll see those green chilies come through, and like I said, the flavors work really, really well together.
Oh,
so
that
that is
really
what
nice.
it's going to look like when it's finished. And then you can go ahead and top it with some of your little things here. We've got some jalapeno, and you can serve these on the side too. That way people can, you know, put some extra topping on if they like. But I like to do a little cilantro, a little tomato, a little jalapeno, and then you have these wonderful dippers with it.
And just
make
a
it
few
look
minutes.
pretty. And really, I mean, that's just
Yeah.
how quickly we made that, right?
And even though that's in a baking dish, Chef Kate says you can just throw it in your crock pot and let it like slow cook, and then so it's there for your guests.
Love it.
Yeah.
What time should we be over?
Okay, yeah, I'll make that now. She also showed me how to make a hot pimento dip with bacon. You can find that extra recipe along with this one at jonesdairyfarm.com. Just click on the recipes tab. We'll also get these recipes up with this segment on channel3000.com.
They always make such great stuff over there, and it's so simple. That's what I really love about it.
And it's a local company. That's great.
Yeah, always good to support that. Okay, let's head over to the Weather Center now. The weather is pretty much just about right. Not too hot, not too cold. What do you think the weekend's going to look like, Blaze?
It is going to be a mix. 20s on Saturday, 30s return on Sunday, 40s by Monday and Tuesday. Cooling down in time for the Winter Carnival and the 5K there on Lake Mendota. The freezing cold that we had to endure through the second half of January has set us up for that really solid ice pack over the last couple of weeks, lasting into tomorrow. So hopefully the ice is going to stick around a little bit beyond that. It will obviously thin as temperatures warm. Snow might not, though. We're sitting at about 4 inches of snowpack here in the Madison area, and we only have contributed less than a half an inch of that because we're carrying it over from January back on the 1st. The 2nd and yesterday we had trace amounts of snow with less than a half an inch of snow so far. Granted, the month just started. We've got a lot of ground to make up. We've got to accumulate nearly 13 inches of snow by the end of February, and at least through the next, I would say, week to week and a half, there's little to no major snow chances, or at least heavy snow chances, especially tomorrow because the high pressure system is going to move on in. It's going to keep our skies quiet and will eventually become more cloudy as the day goes on, leading to a mostly cloudy turning partly sunny Sunday. Winds are going to be out of the south, so that means we're back into the 30s on Sunday. And then here comes our next low pressure system that is going to help warm our temperatures into the 40s by tapping into the southwesterly air as we go into Monday and then further into Tuesday. Do we get rain or snow out of this? Maybe a light amount. If it would be anything, it's going to be more rain with a few snowflakes than a lot of snowflakes and a few raindrops because temperatures will be warm. But our forecast really isn't calling for a whole lot of rain or snow Monday or Tuesday. We only really start to see some activity Wednesday night into Thursday. That system's still far out, which is why I'm not necessarily showing you these numbers because that's what we will get. Our long-range models here, the GFS in the purple or the European model in the green. What I'm showing you is over the next couple of days, we have to really essentially wait until the second half of next week to maybe get some activity. And even then, this is very far out. These numbers are going to change. But between now and then, we don't see a whole lot of activity moving on through the area, even though we continue to really sit underneath a wetter than normal pattern, which is very interesting given that we haven't had a whole lot of rain or snow. But over the next 2 weeks, we will hopefully squeeze out some rain, maybe some snow as well, because as I mentioned, we've got to make up a lot of ground to get that nearly 13 inches of snow by the end of the month. 40s Monday and Tuesday. We are sitting in the low to mid 30s through the rest of next week with a quiet Valentine's weekend in the forecast.
Thank you, Blaze. The first round of nominations for this year's Madison Magazine's Best of Madison is now underway. Through the end of the month, you can nominate your favorite restaurants, businesses, TV news personalities. I don't know, like the people on Live at 4 maybe, for example, writers and more. This round is write-in only. You can also buy tickets to the Best of Business Luncheon on our website, channel3000.com.
Well, they call it construction. And over at the Milwaukee Public Museum, awards were handed out to the architectural design teams that built these unusual pieces of work.
Yeah, check it out. 11 teams created these structures. The idea was to use non-perishable food cans, food that will eventually be donated. We talked with one of the project managers whose team used tuna cans to recreate one of the ancient heads on Easter Island.
It's incredibly cool, and I heard that having protein for the cans was really helpful for families, so I'm glad that our entire structure is basically made out of protein.
I love it. So creative. The teams had to use at least 1,000 cans, and awards were given for the best structural ingenuity, best use of labels, most cans, and the people's choice.
That'll give me some inspiration when I'm stacking the cans in my cupboard.
Right.
Well, after the break, we're talking about the 4 most important stories of the day in the afternoon sprint, plus a final check of the first warn forecast.
It's 4:53, time for the afternoon sprint.
The operator of more than 100 Burger King franchises in Wisconsin is being ordered to pay more than $1 million for alleged child labor violations. Investigations found more than 1,600 violations in a 2-year period. Violations include cases where minors worked 6 hours or more without meal breaks and cases where children worked without a proper labor permit.
In Madison, no one was hurt after a car drove through a garage at a far west side apartment last night. The car damaged the garage enough that crews were worried about the safety of the building. The heavy urban rescue team braced the building, took out the car, and now the building was found to be safe.
In Jefferson, State Patrol troopers say footprints in the snow led them to a man who left the scene of a crash. After following tracks from a crashed car for more than 1.5 miles, troopers found a 41-year-old Sun Prairie man hiding in a bush. He was arrested for his 4th offense, OWI.
More than 6,000 bags of M&M candies packaged for promotional purposes have been recalled. Products include select bags of peanut M&Ms and regular M&Ms sold with a wide range of promotional labels. They were distributed across 20 states, including Wisconsin. Consumers with milk, soy, or peanut allergies should not eat them and throw them out.
With the weekend right around the corner, what can we expect? 20s on Saturday, 30s return on Sunday. A mix of partly sunny to mostly cloudy conditions all weekend with light southeasterly winds. Get out and enjoy the snow or the ice while it is still safe or still on the ground. Because at 5, I'll tell you when the 40s return and how long they stick around for.
All right, Blaze, thank you. We'll be right back.
Coming up at 5, a teacher at MMSD accused of possessing child sex abuse materials has been charged, and former Sun Prairie Dean Robert Gilkey-Messigeyer has pleaded guilty. And Madison's new public market is already being recognized internationally for its energy and environmental design. Thanks for watching us today on Live at 4. We'll see you back here on Monday. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.